We have Raju Kapoor, Director, Industry and Public Affairs, FMC. Sir, if you can talk about the crop trends and its implication on India.
Yeah, I think in terms of crop trends, clearly we see that the horticultural crops, their production is really zooming up. Horticultural production is going way above the cereals production. And by implication, what is happening is because horticultural crops are essentially cash crops, they are enriching the farmers' paying capacity or buying capacity, if you may. And that is kind of helping him to adopt newer technology. Now, when I say newer technology, that means that he's more aware that the kind of damage that a pest can do to his crop. So he's more attentive in addressing that particular damage. So from that perspective, I think it's the consumption of, if I may put, the solution that a farmer needs for his crops, he is more willing to adopt those. So this is one big trend which I can see clearly for sure. Number two definitely is a trend around safety of the food. You know, the consumer preferences towards safer food is, I think, definitely putting pressure on the industry to look for newer, safer chemistries. And that's where I think the real future lies. I would say the future customer demand, consumers' demand will force the farmer to opt for a safer option, and that option will then get transmitted to the industry, and the industry will start addressing it by way of bringing in newer, safer chemistries into play. So that's a second big trend. Third big trend is around the application technology. I think we are having a serious crunch around labor and also knowledge. So somewhere there has to be a confluence of knowledge, application technology, and farmers' need. So that confluence will also come up very soon, where we will look at some either new models which would be which could be service models, wherein you instead of talking of rupees per liter of a product, you could talk about rupees per hectare of crop protection or a crop nutrition. So those are some of the new trends, and that would also incorporate newer trends such as precision agriculture, where you're looking at somebody continuously monitoring for the need to apply. So the need of what we call as the safe and the judicious use of crop protection will also kick in at that point in time. So I think, and the other trend which I look forward to is global companies looking to seriously look at India as a new source of incorporation in their own global supply chains. That is another change that I'm expecting should happen and would happen soon, as long as we have some of the things, some of the challenges addressed here in the country with respect to the IPs, with respect to some of the data protection policy, etc., etc. Those will bring in some more new products introduction. Also, this is going to trigger, and it has already triggered actually, and I must really compliment the Ministry of Agriculture, where they are actually proactively coming forward and saying, okay, what would it take to bring a newer technology for the farmers? That's a very positive trend of this government. So I would expect some results to come out of some of the regulatory reforms that we are expecting to see shortly, and those regulatory reforms will ensure that newer technologies are made available to the farmers. So I'm expecting that the overall market will upgrade itself, the farmers will upgrade themselves to a much better ecosystem of crop protection.
Would you talk about your plans for FMC India in 2021?
Yeah, so I think what FMC is trying to look at is we are essentially a global agri-sciences company. So we believe in sustainable innovations. So we are looking to bring in a lot of innovations for the Indian farmers. And there will be a slew of new introductions happening in the country. We are also moving from a product-centric approach to a solution-centric approach, where we intend to be with the farmer throughout the crop lifetime and maybe throughout the year, with him over across various crops. So this solution approach, we expect that we are going to be touching somewhere around 2 to 3 million farmers, training them on the good agricultural practices, on the sustainable agricultural practices, and help them address the crop in totality. So that's the new approach that we are looking at. Obviously, we have been looking at newer technologies to be brought in, apart from some of the new molecules that we have for India. Apart from it, we are also looking at newer application technologies, and we also have interest in looking at how do we bring in Precision Ag to the country. We are also today one of the leading company. We are looking at how do we make farmers use the product in a safe and judicious manner. So I think in terms of the focus of the organization, we are very clearly targeting at a sustainable crop protection. Along with that, our focus will also be on enriching the farming communities. So we have started a big project called Project Samarth. Okay. Now Project Samarth actually is moving to address something like 200,000 farmer families to have access to safe drinking water. Then we are also celebrating the World Water Day on how to have the right stewardship for water, both in terms of its use in agriculture, in terms of water for health, and in terms of water conservation. This is the second big thing that we are looking at. The other thing that we are looking at is training the farmers on good agricultural practices. So I think the target is to address again 2 million farmers for training again this year onto good agricultural practices. So these are the kind of directions that we are taking.
Thank you, sir.